In this video, we are diving into a game-changing feature that can take your AI projects to the next level. OpenAI's Structured Output. Large language models are amazing at answering questions. But let's be real, sometimes those responses are a bit all over the place, right? In real-world apps, we can't afford messy, unstructured responses. We need them neat, predictable, and perfectly formatted. That's where OpenAI's Structured Output comes in. It ensures that responses you get are in a predefined format like JSON, so that you can easily integrate them into your app's UI, workflows, or processes without worrying about inconsistencies. In this video, we'll walk you through how structured output works, how it's achieved using function calling and JSON schema response format, and most importantly, when to use each. You will see real-world examples that show how powerful this feature is. Let's dive in and take your AI projects to the next level. So what is structured output? When we talk about AI-generated content, we often think of free-form text like paragraphs, stories, and chat responses. This is what we call unstructured output. It's flexible but can be messy when you need specific data. On the other hand, structured output is when AI provides data in a predefined format. Think of it like filling out a form. Instead of getting a block of text, you get neatly organized information, like a JSON object or a table. This is super useful when you need consistent, predictable data for your applications. So instead of getting a response that says, the weather is sunny with a high of 25 degrees, structured output would give you something like this. Weather, sunny, temperature, 25. No more guessing or writing complex regex patterns to extract what you need. Now, how does it work? When you request structured output from OpenAI, you essentially provide a template or a format that you want the data to follow. AI then fills in that structure based on the information it generates. It's like giving the AI a blueprint to work with. This approach is particularly powerful because it reduces the need for post-processing. Whether you're building an API, automating reports, or generating structured content for a website, structured output ensures that the data is exactly how you want it right out of the box. In the next section, we will get our hands on and see how to implement this in code. But before we dive into the code, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of our future deep dives. If you want to learn how to build OpenAI assistants using Assistants API, don't forget to check out this video. Structured outputs are available in the latest large language models like GPT-4o Mini and later. Older models like GPT-4 and 3.5 don't support structured outputs, and if you're using one of those, you'll need to use JSON mode instead. If you're not familiar with JSON mode, think of it as a basic version of structured outputs. When you turn it on, the model's responses are formatted as JSON, but it doesn't guarantee the output will match a specific schema. To enable JSON mode, simply set the response format to type JSON object in your API calls. If you're using function calling, JSON mode is automatically turned on. A key thing to remember, always instruct the model to generate JSON explicitly, or you might run into issues like endless white space or reaching the token limit. Structured outputs is available in two forms in the OpenAI API. First, when using function calling. It's best when you need the model to interact with your application's tools or data. And second, when using a JSON schema response format. It's ideal when you want the model to respond with structured data for display purposes or to your users. If you're not familiar with function calling, it allows you to connect models like GPT-4o to external tools and systems. So you can write your own functions and logic and pass them as tools to your API calls. So the key difference is you should use function calling when you want the model to trigger functions like querying a database or interacting with the UI. For example, an AI assistant that helps users with their orders. And you should use response format when you just want the model's response to be structured so you can easily render the output in a specific format. Like building a math tutoring app where assistant's response follows a particular schema. Let's see how to use structured outputs with function calling. If you're using function calling, you can turn on the structured outputs by setting strict equal to true in your function definition. If strict is not set to true, the structure of arguments returned by the model are not guaranteed to be correct. then why would someone not use structured outputs with function calling? There can be two main reasons. First is if you need to use some feature of JSON schema that is not yet supported. And second is if each of your API requests uses schemas that are not fixed but are generated on demand and rarely repeated, then you might not want to use structured outputs. Now let's see how to use structured outputs with response format. First, we need to define an object or data structure that would represent our JSON schema. So in Python, we can create a class step like this, and we can give all the fields in the JSON that we need. So here we have created one step class that contains explanation and output as the two parameters, and another class called math response. And it contains the steps, which is the list of objects of step class that we created, and the final answer. Here we are using Pydantic. Pydantic is the most widely used data validation library for Python. Once this is done, we need to supply our object in the API call. So let's say we are making this API call openai.beta.chat.completions.parse. In this API call, we'll pass the model, then the messages, and then we'll pass response format, which would be equal to the math response class that we created earlier. After doing this, our response should adhere to the class that we passed in the response format. But in certain cases, the model might not generate a valid response that matches the provided JSON schema. Now this can happen in the case of a refusal. If the model refuses to answer for safety reasons, or if the max tokens limit was reached and the response was incomplete. In such cases, we need to handle the edge cases and move forward. So we can get the response from completion.choices at zeroth index.message. We can check if math response.refusal is true. If it's true, then there was a refusal. We can have this entire logic in the try except, and in the case of exception, check if exception is of type length finish reason error. That is, the max token limit was exceeded. And then we can retry the call if required. So the API response from a refusal will look something like this. In the message, we will see a property called refusal and the refusal reason. And finally, we can use the generated structured data in a type-safe way. And it's that easy to use the structured outputs. Now let's go through a couple of examples to get a better understanding of structured outputs. The first example is chain of thought. In this example, we are using OpenAI's structured outputs to guide a math problem step by step in a clear and organized way. Here's what's happening. We define two classes using Pydantic. Step, it has two fields, explanation and output, which represents each step of the math solution. And second class, math reasoning. This holds a list of step objects and the final answer. We send a request to OpenAI's GPT-4o model with a system message instructing it to act as a helpful math tutor. The user asks how to solve the equation 8x plus 7 equal to minus 23. And we use structured outputs to ensure the response follows the math reasoning format. The result is a structured response where each step of the solution is explained and formatted for easy use in an application, like displaying step-by-step problem solving in a math tutoring app. This is how the response would look like. It will contain a list of steps, and each step will have explanation and output, and then a final answer. Now let's look at another example where we are using structured outputs to extract key information from research papers. And here's how it works. We define a Pydantic model, research paper extraction, with fields like title, authors, abstract, and keywords. This structure helps organize the important fields of a research paper. We instruct OpenAI's model to act as an expert in structured data extraction. The model takes unstructured text, such as the body of a research paper, and converts it into a structured format following the fields we defined, providing a neatly organized breakdown of the research paper's title, authors, abstract, and keywords. And this is how the response would look like. We will get a JSON that contains title, authors, abstract, and keywords. Now let's look at another interesting example where we want to generate a valid HTML. In this example, we are generating the entire HTML, all based on a predefined structure. First, we define an enum UI type, which lists the possible HTML elements like div, button, form, etc. Then we create two Pydantic models, attribute and UI. Attribute represents the HTML attributes such as type, name, and value. UI is a recursive model that can have child elements, allowing us to build complex UIs like forms with nested elements. In the request to OpenAI, we ask it to generate a user profile form. The model responds by following the structure we have defined, and this is how the response would look like. It will contain a type, which is a form, then the label, and list of children. Imagine you are building a platform where users need to create their own forms, such as for surveys, registrations, or order forms. By leveraging this approach, users can simply describe the form they need to create, and your system will automatically generate the HTML form in real time. Another interesting use case could be automatically generating e-commerce product pages with custom attributes like product filters, categories, and dynamic buttons. Businesses can simply input the product details and the system generates a complete responsive UI. Now let's look at one final example where we are using structured outputs to automate content moderation by classifying inputs, and here's how it works. We define an enum category that lists potential violations like violence, sexual, or self-harm. We create a Pydantic model, content compliance, with fields to indicate whether the content violates any rules, the specific category of violation, and an explanation if it does. In the API call, we instruct the model to determine if the user's input violates any guidelines. The user asks an innocent question: how do I prepare for a job interview? The model responds in a structured way, confirming that the content is not violating any guidelines, with no category flagged and no explanation needed. This can be useful in social media moderation, in automatically flagging and handle posts that violate community guidelines. It can also be used in comment section moderation. Now, these are just a few examples, but now you know how to use it. Now let's talk about the supported schemas. Structured Output supports a subset of JSON schema language. The following types are supported for structured outputs: string, number, boolean, integer, object, array, enum, and any of. The key rules are: root object of your schema must always be an object. No any of should be there at the top level. Any of is a feature in JSON schema that allows the field to match any one of the several specified schemas. For example, if you have a schema with any of, it can accept either a user object or an address object, depending on the input. And all the fields are required fields. Every field or function parameter must be required. Objects have limitations on nesting, depth, and size. A schema may have up to 100 object properties total with up to 5 levels of nesting. There is a field called additional properties that controls whether it is allowable for an object to contain additional keys or values that were not defined in the JSON schema. Structured outputs only supports generating specified keys or values, so developers are required to set additional properties to false to opt into structured outputs. And some type-specific keywords are not yet supported. For example, for strings, min length, max length, pattern, format, and for numbers, minimum, maximum, multiple of. For objects, pattern properties, unevaluated properties, property names, etc. And for arrays, unevaluated items, contains, min contains, etc. You can even create recursive structures such as nested UI components or linked lists using ref to reference schemas within themselves. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into AI and technology. And as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below with your questions, feedback, or ideas for future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.